Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be looking closely at pet care in Newport News, Virginia.
And we've got some great sources to help us out today. We've got advice tailored to Newport News and some great insights from local vets.
So if you're a pet owner in Newport News, this is for you.
Definitely.
So the sources really paint Newport News as like this pet-friendly city.
Yeah.
You can imagine going for walks along the Noland Trail or hitting up one of the many dog parks.
Yeah, it does sound idyllic. But like any location, there's always going to be specific factors that can impact your pet's health.
Right.
That coastal climate, as lovely as it is, it can bring some challenges for our pets.
Okay, so like what? Give me some examples.
Well, think about the summers. They can be hot and humid, and heat stress is definitely a concern, especially for certain breeds.
Right.
And because the weather stays warm for so much of the year, we've got to worry about pests too.
Oh, so fleas, ticks, mosquitoes.
Yep, all of them, and those are a year-round problem.
So it's not just a seasonal thing to worry about here.
Not at all. And with pets enjoying all the outdoor activities that Newport News has to offer, those pests can really become a problem.
Yeah, and not to mention they can carry diseases, right?
Exactly.
And speaking of diseases, the sources really stress how important those vaccinations are.
Oh, absolutely. Vaccines are like the foundation of preventative care. And in an environment like Newport News, they're especially important.
Okay, so for dogs, what are we talking about?
So we're talking the core vaccines like rabies, which is required by law anyway,
Right.
and then distemper.
That can be fatal, right? Especially for puppies.
Especially for puppies, you're right.
So those are like the must-haves, non-negotiables for any dog owner in Newport News.
Definitely.
Now, what about for cat owners?
So for our feline friends, rabies is also key. And then we've got the FVRCP vaccine.
Okay, what is that one?
So that one protects against a few things. Serious respiratory diseases,
Okay.
gastrointestinal diseases too, and those are highly contagious, so you definitely want to make sure your cat's protected.
Okay, so if you're a cat owner in Newport News, FVRCP shot is a must-have.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like there might be additional vaccines, depending on like a pet's lifestyle and all that.
That's right. It really depends on their lifestyle.
Right.
Like if your dog is super social, going to the dog park all the time, maybe they're exploring wooded areas a lot, your vet might recommend additional vaccines.
I see.
So things like kennel cough, leptospirosis, maybe even canine influenza.
Okay, so leptospirosis, that's the one that can spread through water, right?
Yeah, contaminated water.
Contaminated water. Okay, wow, so it seems like there's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, there is.
And that's why it's so important to have a good relationship with your vet.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So we're talking those regular checkups.
Those are vital for all pets, but especially in a place like Newport News where we have these unique environmental factors.
Right, and I think a lot of pet owners might think, oh, my pet seems fine. They're eating, they're playful. Why bother with the checkup?
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
But the sources really stress that even the most attentive owner can miss subtle signs.
Oh, definitely. And you'd be surprised how often what seems like a small issue turns out to be something bigger.
Right.
Give me an example.
Well, let's take dental problems.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize how common dental disease is in pets.
Really?
It can really impact their overall health.
Wow. So it's not just about bad breath. It could be a sign of something else going on.
Exactly. And those early signs of joint pain, owners might miss those too.
Oh, yeah.
And those can be managed way more effectively if you catch them early.
So it's all about being proactive.
It is. It's
Rather
like-
than reactive, get ahead of it.
Yeah, those regular checkups, they let your vet monitor for any changes, catch those things early, and really be an advocate for your pet's health.
Your pet's health advocate. I like that.
Yeah.
That brings up a good point, finding a vet you trust. Someone who understands the challenges of pet care here in Newport News.
It's so important, and that's what we're going to get into next. Choosing the right vet for you and your pet. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so we've been talking about the challenges of taking care of your pet Leonard in Newport News and how important those regular checkups are.
Super important.
But, finding the right vet can be tough.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with so many options out there.
It's overwhelming.
It really is. And the sources really emphasize that relationship between the vet and the owner.
Yeah, it's more than just a quick visit.
It's more than transactional. It's a partnership.
It really is. You wouldn't just go to any doctor yourself, would you?
No.
You look for someone who listens, who understands you, who makes you feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
And it's the same for your pet.
So how do we go about finding that perfect match? What should pet owners in Newport News be looking for?
Well, think about your pet's needs.
Okay.
Do you have a puppy? A kitten? Or is it a senior pet? Maybe they have some health issues already,
Right.
breed-specific issues, things like that.
So you're saying like a vet who specializes in geriatric care would be a better fit for an older pet
Exactly. Yeah.
than, one who mainly works with young animals.
Puppies and kittens, yeah.
And what about asking about the vet's experience with certain breeds?
Oh, that's a good one. Some breeds are prone to certain conditions,
Right.
and a vet who knows those nuances can be so helpful.
So helpful.
It can make a big difference.
And of course, you got to think about the practical stuff.
Like
So
location,
yeah.
hours.
Super important. Think about how easy it is to get to the clinic.
Yeah. For those appointments?
Appointments, exactly. And emergencies, too.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of emergencies, no one wants to think about it.
I know.
But it's important to be prepared.
Oh, absolutely. Emergencies happen, so you got to know what to do.
Know what to do, yeah.
So get familiar with the emergency services in Newport News.
Okay.
Do they have 24/7 availability?
Okay.
Are there specialists on call? Things like that?
So it's not just finding a vet for routine stuff.
Nope.
It's also knowing where to go when something unexpected happens. Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask your vet about their emergency procedures.
Right.
What do they do after hours? Are they connected to a 247 animal hospital?
Those are all good questions to ask.
Yeah, you got to be in the know.
So it sounds like communication is key throughout this whole process.
Oh, it is. Definitely. Ask questions, talk about your concerns.
Don't be shy.
Not at all. Make sure you understand what the vet's recommending.
You are your pet's advocate,
You are.
and a good vet will welcome that
They will. They'll be happy to explain everything and answer your questions.
because they want you to be involved in your pet's care.
Exactly. An informed and engaged partner.
So we've talked about finding the right vet, being prepared for emergencies. Anything else specific to Newport News that pet owners should know?
Well, the sources really emphasized senior pet care.
No.
As pets get older, they need extra attention, a different approach.
This is something I'm really interested in. My dog's getting up there in years.
Oh, yeah.
So what kind of adjustments should I be making?
Well, first off, those checkups need to be more frequent.
More frequent.
Senior pets are more likely to develop certain conditions.
Right.
So catching those early can really help them.
So instead of once a year, I should think about twice a year, maybe even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And those checkups might involve more tests.
Like what kind of tests?
So we're talking tests to monitor organ function,
Okay.
maybe check for arthritis, or even screen for age-related diseases.
Okay, so those checkups are super important for senior pets.
They are.
And what about things I can do at home? To help my senior dog.
Oh, there's a lot you can do. Pay attention to how they're moving.
Okay.
Are they having trouble getting up and down stairs?
Yeah, I've noticed that with my dog.
Are their walks getting shorter? Those are all things to watch for.
Right. And what about diet? I'm guessing their nutritional needs change as they get older.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to your vet about a senior-specific diet,
Oh.
one that supports their joints,
Mm-hmm.
cognitive function,
Yeah.
maybe even addresses some dietary restrictions.
Okay, so there's a lot to think about.
There is, yeah.
But there's also a lot we can do to help our senior pets live their best lives.
Exactly. Those golden years can be just as amazing as the puppy years,
That's so good to hear.
It's all about adapting their care as they change.
And we've been talking about cats and dogs, but Newport News has all kinds of pets, right?
That's right. You might see a parrot out on a walk.
Right, exactly.
Or maybe a lizard soaking up the sun.
So what about those less common pets? How does all this apply to them?
Well, the same principles apply, preventative care, finding a vet you trust, being prepared for emergencies. But with exotic pets, there are a few extra things to consider.
What kind of things?
Well, you got to find a vet who has experience with exotic animals.
Makes sense. I wouldn't take my parrot to a vet who only sees dogs and cats.
Exactly. Not all vets are equipped to handle a reptile or a bird.
Right. Right. So it's not just about finding any vet.
Nope. Got to find one with the right experience.
Exactly. And I imagine the environment here in Newport News plays a role too.
It does.
Being so close to the coast might be some unique challenges for exotic pets.
You're right. Things like humidity, temperature changes, even certain plants or insects could be a problem.
It seems like there's a lot more to consider when you have, something other than a cat or a dog.
There is, but it's so rewarding to provide these amazing creatures with the care they need.
Absolutely. And it's so cool to see the different kinds of pets people have, even here in Newport News.
It really shows how much we love animals.
It does, whether it's a dog, a cat, even a parrot. they really add something special to our lives.
They do.
And that brings us back to why we're doing this deep dive.
Right.
It's about understanding how to be the best pet owners we can be, especially here in Newport News.
Exactly. Enjoy all the perks of having a pet, but be aware of the challenges this environment brings.
So for everyone listening in Newport News, whether you're walking your dog along the Noland Trail, playing fetch in the park, or just chilling with your furry friend.
Or a feathery friend, or scaly friend.
Exactly. Remember what we've talked about today?
Yeah.
That preventative care is so important.
It is. Vaccines, parasite prevention, regular checkups, those are all key.
And finding a vet you trust, one who knows your pet's needs and understands this coastal environment, that's huge.
It really is.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, speak up for your pet, be a part of those healthcare decisions,
Be an advocate.
and be prepared. Those emergencies, they can happen.
Yeah, know where to go when they do.
Know what the options are in your area.
Be ready.
Having a pet is a responsibility, but it's also such a joy.
Oh, it really is.
So by being informed, being proactive, and just being loving pet owners, we can help our pets live long and happy lives right here in Newport News.
That's the goal.
That's what it's all about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.
Until next time, take care of yourselves and your animal companions.